Good morning. Nice to see all of you here bright and early this morning. We had a fantastic day yesterday. Great day, great speakers. And we celebrated success through the recognition that we did towards the end of the day. Recognized colleges, individuals, and entrepreneurs. Overall, a fulfilling day for all of us, I'm sure, who attended the conference yesterday. Today promises to be another important and a very eventful day. We're going to begin the day with something that I'm sure a lot of you have been looking forward to. I've been influenced a great deal by Mahatria. In fact, the book Most and More is something, as soon as I read that, I ordered 100 copies from Flipkart and distributed to a lot of friends of mine. Not only has it impacted me, I'm sure it has impacted many others. I'm sure you're all waiting to listen to him. ICT Academy is extremely proud to have brought Mahatria here, and we present him to you this morning. Thank you very much. Sir.
Happy morning. I know we are not used to responding, but I'll be happy with a little response. All the lights is on me and it's dark out there, so I don't know whether you're there or not. I can't see you. So I'd like to hear some response. Happy morning. This is something which intentionally I brought about a change, because I realized we have been saying good morning for such a long time that we are so programmed for it, we don't even respond to people when they wish us good morning. Or even if we respond, we just respond back saying morning, morning. And actually wishes are vibrations put in words. When you wish somebody, you're actually communicating your intent to the world about what you feel by saying all the best, good morning, do well, happy birthday. And yet, over a period of time, the response gets so mechanical because we have heard it and heard it. Like, how are you? Rare do we even wait to listen to the response from people when we ask them, how are you? We keep walking. So somehow, just to create that little jerk, by decision I took some time back, I'll wish people happy morning. At least it's a conversation beginner. A lot of people ask immediately, what? Happy morning. That's why happy morning with all of you. Actually stand here feeling very humbled. Because India as a nation has progressed a lot more out of individual enterprise than the government or systems. A lot of individuals, not only displaying individual expertise, but also displaying this intent that they would live a life where it not only lifts themselves but to lift the world around, which is one of the Vedic prescriptions itself. Lift yourself by yourself and in turn lift others. And somehow true to what is prescribed in the Vedic tradition. If we see the growth and the dynamism of the country in the last few years, in spite of the fact the number of hurdles and the number of speed breakers, the number of impediments that exist, if progress has happened, I think as a nation, a lot of you have lived worthy of this Vedic prescription. Lift yourself by yourself and in turn lift others. So as I stand here, I feel humbled that this isn't a program where we are just discussing about our P&L, our bottom line, but it's a program where the institutions, the organizations, the entrepreneurs who are beginning to think beyond me, mine, myself, coming together and seeing in what way, in what sort of legacy can we create with the wisdom, the resources, the expertise, the energy that we have in empowering a lot of individuals around and in turn creating a better world. So I just want to repeat it one more time. When I stand here, if there is one dominant feeling within me, I feel very humbled at the collective power of human spirit working together towards this endeavor. Not even knowing who are those who are going to benefit out of all these initiatives. In fact, in all the programs that I do, I request everybody, even if you are living in a small apartment, somewhere in the balcony, have a pot of plant, adopt it as yours, and grow the plant. Why? Unlike a human being, a plant cannot tell you thank you for what you do to it. Just to cultivate this attitude that once in a way, we all have to realize we cannot thank all the people who have contributed to what we have become in life. Even if we decide to take stock, we may not take stock of everybody who had your kindergarten teachers, the ayah, the babysitter who used to take care of you in the house when mama was a working woman, a career-oriented person, a teacher who walked into your life in your 7th standard or 8th standard. Until then, for you, physics used to be, science used to be a nightmare. And somehow you started liking this teacher. And in turn, you started liking the subject and you went on to do your engineering. But somewhere when you look back in introspection, you realize that science teacher in your 8th standard, 7th standard was actually a turning point. She changed your affinity towards a subject and that changed the direction of your career. Endless number of people that when you were admitted in a hospital during your growing years and fever was very high, not just the doctor and the hospital, some nurse who took care of you in the night, which is why you're alive today. None of us ever can go back and say thank you to all those people who played a part in the becoming of what we have become in life. Yet somehow when we grow into successful people and we begin to reach out to the world, some of this tendency, this need, this craving to be recognized for what we do, an expectation of gratitude, a lot of us get involved in selfless activities. We take a lot of good Samaritan initiatives. But in the process, we also lose our peace because along with that comes this expectation that I need to be recognized for what I do, or I need to be respected for what I do, or the world has to turn back and say thank you for what I have done to them. Which I'm not saying the world is an ungrateful world, but we all get so busy living our day-to-day life. Sometimes we feel the gratitude, but we fail to express it. Even all of us. So sometimes when I see all these people, it concerns me a lot that we do so much for the world and in the process lose our peace of mind. So just to ensure that we are insulated from this, I always request people, grow a plant. If you have a backyard, cultivate a small garden there. Do something. Even a dog will wag its tail and let you know how happy it is for what you're doing. A cat will brush very close to your body and somehow tell you how much it enjoys your company. A cow will communicate with his eyes how secure it feels growing in your backyard. Plants don't have any way to tell you thank you for what you do to them. and they help you more than you helping them to develop this attitude to do what is good and right to the world, and know that there is no point in expecting any reciprocation in return. And that is going to help you to do a lot of good things and right things in life, and in the process, not lose your peace of mind. To me, somehow, this whole project that all of you have come together and initiated is no different for me, because none of you sitting here know the end student who is benefiting out of all this initiative that you're taking. You just know, as an expression of this vision, the life of a lot of these little ones will be made. They will have much more successful, progressive career. They may not even know that a lot of changes that happened in their institution, in the teaching mechanisms of this institution, all came through these initiatives. But we definitely know that whatever has been happening for the last 4 years and whatever will continue to happen, out there in the world, there are people who are benefiting and growing out of it. And there is no way for us to know who is enjoying this benefit. And there's no way they're going to come back and say thank you to you. Yet, the sheer joy that I know I lived a life beyond me, mine, myself. A very ordinary barrister, a selfish barrister in Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who was convinced India does not have the leadership to govern itself, who was convinced it's better the Britishers govern us than we governing our own self. Yet, when he identified himself with a goal larger than himself, for the first time Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi realized the hidden potentials within him. Not only to the world a Mahatma Gandhi was revealed, but a Mahatma Gandhi was revealed unto himself. For Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi himself was not aware such a sleeping giant was within him, and it came to the fold only when he identified himself with a goal larger than himself. When she thought for herself, she was convinced she didn't even have the capabilities to become the headmistress of a school. Agnes. Yet, on seeing a man die in the streets of Kolkata, and when she asked this question, there are enough institutions to provide dignity to those who are living. Why there is no institution to provide dignity to those who are dying? And when she identified herself with a cause larger than herself, she discovered a giant of personality sleeping within herself. A Mother Teresa was not only revealed to the world, also revealed unto herself. From a Siddhartha to a Buddha, from a Narendra to Vivekananda. The endless list of people where one human being lived one lifetime in such a way that that one individual life of one lifetime was able to impact eternity. They did not become a turning point unto themselves alone. They also became a turning point to humanity as a whole. And in all these cases, there is one central connection to it, and that is, they lived their life up to a point within the confines of me, mine, myself, my goals, my ambitions, my aspirations. And somewhere they moved forward and identified themselves with a goal larger than themselves, beyond me, mine, myself. They began to identify the larger good, where the individual good became a byproduct. And in all those cases, they discovered a giant of a personality who was sleeping within them. I somehow feel this whole forum and this whole initiative, what little I read about it, is an amazing platform where it is forcing us to think beyond ourselves, towards a tomorrow, towards a legacy, and working with people beyond ourselves. And that's why I began the program by saying, I feel so humbled. I also believe, because this whole initiative is working with human potential, wish to share two stories and then move into what I wanted to address today. One which is very close to my heart. Sir Edmund Hillary attempted to scale Mount Everest and failed in his first few attempts. He used to have a painting of the portrait of Mount Everest. It seems one day, Edmund Hillary looked at the painting that he had of Mount Everest and said, the more you reject me, the more I am determined that one day I will stand at the top of you. And I know I will. You know why? He told the painting of Mount Everest, even as Mount Everest, you cannot grow any further. But I as a human being will continue to keep growing. There's no limit to human potential. And because I as a human being will continue to grow, one day I will stand at the top of you. The Jupiter is not going to grow any bigger. The Pacific is not going to grow any deeper. The sun is not going to get any hotter. It's not going to grow any taller. And yet, never has been and never will anybody define a limitation to human potential. Yet, this human potential does not manifest in the world outside unless it is given the right environment, the right inspiration. See, a few of us were very lucky either to find in our own homes or somewhere in the immediate society outside where somebody's life inspired us. And we all need inspiration to think beyond ourselves. And each one of you have your own inspiration that you found at home, at society, at workplace, in your educational institutions, amongst your friend circle, or in a book. Not everybody has access to this inspiration. I remember once upon a time when I used to have the In-Suzuki bike, much before it became TVS Suzuki. And the clutch wire had cut. I had taken this bike to a mechanic shed because I knew nothing about the clutch wire. One 8 or 9-year-old boy came. Na sir, nache. Clutch poichuma. Clutch is not working. He had torn trousers. There was grease all over his body. He immediately called out to somebody who was his age. Hey, on the 8R spanner, get that spanner. And he turned a few screws, a few nuts. And then 5 minutes later, my bike was ready to go. Somewhere standing there that day, I realized, I don't know how to repair a clutch wire. That 8, 9-year-old boy knew how to repair a clutch wire. And I was asking myself, does it make me inferior compared to him? Just because I cannot do what he can do. I realized the difference between me and him is exposure. I don't have the exposure to repair a clutch wire. If I also work in that mechanic shed for the next 3 days, and if I also observe how he does his work, if I also get the exposure he has, I knew in 3 days' time I will also be able to repair a clutch wire. But the thoughts that followed after that was even more profound. I realized, then if that boy was born to parents like I was born to, and if he went to schools I went to, if he had the breakthroughs I had, if he had the exposure that I had, chances are he will be the one who is owning the bike. And if I didn't get all these breakthroughs in my life, I might be the one who would have been there in the mechanic shed. A lot of us are sitting where we are sitting because we have had those breakthroughs in life. We were born in those environments and we had that exposure. A lot of these children right now do not have that exposure. For them to discover within them is sleeping a human potential which can look at even a portrait of Mount Everest and say, even as Mount Everest, you cannot grow any further, but I as a human being will continue to grow. So I'm so happy that this whole initiative is working with that human potential to provide them those exposures, to inspire those breakthroughs in them. And I know one day, somewhere, they will become what they will become in life and look back at the institutions they graduated from. And they may not even know that a lot of you individuals sitting here played a part in those initiatives that made them what they have become in life. Feel very proud of this whole initiative. 2. A father has this habit that every day he used to come back and first read the newspaper, and only then he would engage himself with any other activity in the family. That day his 6-year-old daughter was in one of those naughty state of mind, and she was very insistent that her dad should play with her. But the father was very particular. He had to read about all the scandals in the world, where all rapes have happened, which politician has changed which party. So he wanted to commit himself to reading the newspaper before turning his attention towards his daughter. But you know children, they are very insistent, very adamant, and they don't know give up. So she kept on pestering. Just then the father saw there was a full-page advertisement of an international courier company with the world map printed and all the destinations to which they can deliver the goods. The father came up with a flash of brilliance. He tore the sheet of paper, tore it into multiple more pieces, scattered it all over the floor, and the father told the child, "Beta, this is your jigsaw puzzle now. Now assemble the world map, and once you complete your jigsaw puzzle, then I will play with you." He thought he bought time, and he continued to read the newspaper. In less than 5 minutes, the child called out to the dad and said, "See what I have done." The father was shocked at what he saw. In fact, he felt his daughter was a genetical skip because he knew he couldn't have done it in those few minutes. Looking at his expression, it seems the child said, "Dad, I know why you are looking so shocked. You should just know, Dad, when you were tearing that newspaper, I saw there was a face of a man on the other side. Dad, I don't know where New Zealand should be, where Canada should be, where America should be. But I know where forehead should be, where nose should be, where ear should be." And it seemed the child said, "Appa, I got the man right, the world became right." And I think this is the truth of life. Getting the man right and eventually getting enough men right will get this world right. I'm so happy that this whole initiative is working at the end product on individuals, transforming these individuals, and somewhere from these individuals will emerge the new India, the new world, the new tomorrow, the new future. Which is one of the things that I wanted to speak about. There's a lot of intent in all of us to do a lot of things in life. But a lot of our energy is getting expended, concerned about, talking about, hitting against the wall, focusing on things over which we have no control, and we dissipate our energy. Unless a lot of prudence comes in and we ensure where my energy must be expended and where it should not be expended. Where should my focus be and where my focus should not be. My dear friends, focus is not only our ability to say yes to the one, but focus is also the discipline to say no to the other 99, where we know our energy will be expended, but it will not give in return the requisite results. Entrepreneur, by its very word, means an individual who is able to shift resources from areas of low productivity to areas of high productivity. Entrepreneur, the word by its very definition, when the French economist gave it, was supposed to be somebody who is very efficient in resource management. And the efficiency of this resource management has to be directed towards shifting resources from areas of low productivity to utilizing those resources in areas of high productivity. When we talk about the word resource, in the early stages as an entrepreneur, money becomes a very significant resource for us. So a lot of focus is about where do we expend our energy and time so that there is optimum earning of money in return. Any one of you right now aspiring to be successful, and all of you are already reasonably successful, and many of you who are already a role model to the world outside on what success is, in the early stages, the focus is always on how to expend time and energy to earn maximum money. But as we grow in life, we realize time is a more precious resource than money. So that is when we undergo into the shift where we do not mind spending money and energy to save time. And that is when for the first time you feel, I think it's okay to hire 5 assistants, which will cost me money, but it will save me time. So that's when you think about delegation, that's when you think about technology, that's when you think about systems, that's when you think about more effective modes of communication, that's when you think about faster ways of commuting from one point to another point. Everywhere the thought process is about, it's okay to expend money and energy, but time must be saved. A lot of you will already be there in that position. From there we have to graduate to another level. And when we graduate, we realize energy is the most precious resource. And we don't have enough of it left. From now to whatever time that is left in our life, and that is where the entire energy can be focused. Sorry to play this number game with you for the next 2 minutes, but it'll give a direction to a point that I want to drive. I don't have a visual impression of all of you yet, but let me make an assumption that the age average of all of you sitting here, it at least makes you feel good, is 30. The average age of an Indian right now, lifespan of an Indian right now, is 69.2. That means it leaves 39 years on an average in each one of us of a lifespan. 1/3 of your life will go in sleep. That takes away 13 years of your life. Sleep, rest. Another 1/3 of your life will go at work. That takes away another 13 years. It leaves you with 13 years. Ev- Every day, your daily chores of brushing your teeth and the coffee and the newspaper, either with coffee or at the pot, the breakfast, then office, first coffee, second coffee, then that extended business lunch, then evening coffee, then the samosa break, and end of the day, the dinner, daily chores in our life, which anyway comes to about 3 to 4 hours in a day's time, will take away another 7 years of your life, leaving behind 6 years. Every person who lives in a metropolitan city, who lives an urban life, travels for not less than an hour a day. That's the minimum. And each one of you must be investing at least 1 hour on entertainment every day. From internet to television, you'll be investing at least 1 hour every day. So between travel and entertainment, another 2 hours, which takes away another 3 years of your life, and that leaves you with just 3 years of effective life left. 1095 days left to live, to die. 1095 days left to live, to die. Beyond the daily chores of our life, which any of you are committed into. I know many of you don't sleep for 8 hours, but I also know that many of you don't work for only 8 hours. And I have not yet put time for exercise, meditation, and all those things. And I know many of you do not indulge in entertainment for just an hour. It's much, much more than that. 3 to 4 mega serials per day is the average that is running. But I cannot put all the actuals, because if I put all the actuals, most of you should have died yesterday. So at least to leave some lifespan for you, I've just gone with some approximation. 1095 days left to live. 1095 days left to die. I normally discuss this to urge people to take care of their health. I normally discuss this to urge people that you have to become super efficient at work. That this 13-hour day work, 14 hours and 15 hours at workplace is going to leave you with nothing. You look back at some stage of your life and feel, except going to work and come back, you've done nothing else with your life. There is so much to read, so much to see, so much to listen to, so much to experience, so much to travel, and above all, so much we have taken from the world, so much to give back to the world. And many of you sitting here must be having spiritual aspirations in your life, and for everything beyond your daily chores, only 1095 days left to live, left to die. I remember the night that I had done this calculation. Next morning, for some reason, there was a huge argument between me and my wife. And she walked as if she didn't want to talk to me. I gently brought her to the dining table around which this argument was happening, took a paper, did this entire calculation to her and told her, Sucharita, we don't have enough time left to love each other. Where is the time to hate each other? We do not have enough time left to live. Where's the time to waste? I really believe a gross amount of energy in this country, a gross amount of energy, leadership energy in this country is getting wasted trying to change things that you cannot change. I am not saying it won't change, but you don't have the lifespan to bring about that. And in the meanwhile, there are a lot of things that you can change. One of the prudent transformation that has to come in leadership is an individualistic decision that you will have to make. Where am I willing to give my time and energy, and where I am not going to waste it is an individual decision everybody has to make. For example, to bring about a change in the system, I really wish we can revolutionize the entire education system. I really wish. I really wish we are still not studying in history about Aurangzeb and Humayun, unless you have aspiration for that. I really wish we have a lot of modern history which speaks about how a JRD achieved what he achieved, how a Mother Teresa was able to mobilize the sort of resources she could mobilize, that even today, 4 million people are being fed in 140 countries. I really wish there is a lot of literature in history which inspires the next generation on what is possible than just discussing war. But that is not something that you can influence right now. You can keep talking about your frustration, you can get upset about it. It's not that the number of rapes in the country have gone up. Don't get me wrong. Please listen to the next 25 minutes I get to speak and you will understand what I'm coming to. It's not that the number of rapes in the country has gone up. The number of rapes in the country right now has gained a lot of media attention, which was not there earlier. So we are becoming aware of it. And we keep talking about why are people like this? Why is government like this? Why are bureaucrats like this? Why is the system like this? And a lot of energy is getting expended. You open the newspaper and you read about 24 pages in the newspaper. And you collect material from at least 16 pages of those 24 pages where you have no control over. Even as people like Lakshmi in position where you can influence a lot of things in life, still there are things that you cannot influence and you cannot control. This Friday I was talking to a very leading, famous, inspiring bureaucrat from this country. And the cause of the conversation, she said, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do this. I said, but there is something that you can do which you're not doing. You can create another 100 people like you with that revolutionary spirit. You can mentor another 100 individuals with the same entrepreneur spirit with which you have lived your life, and that's a legacy that you can leave behind. Sometimes we expend so much energy on what we cannot change that finally when we discover what we can change, you're already so tired and so fatigued that you end up doing nothing. So I know there's a lot of vigor, there is a lot of enterprise. I see a lot of young faces here. And there's so much that you want to do. But what we would do is we will go and start knocking every wall, and eventually start bleeding. And by the time you eventually discover where the door is, you're already so tired that you give up and you don't go through the door that you have gone through right from the beginning. With the amount of intelligence that is trying to find out whether betting happened or not in the game of cricket, if that intelligence can focus on how can we create foolproof systems from ensuring this does not happen in the future, so much can be done. Energy can be expounded on your circle of concern. தனி ஒரு மனிதனுக்கு உணவில்லையெனில் ஜகத்தினை அழிப்போம், Bharati said. And Prophet Muhammad said, when you're having a morsel of food, if your neighbor is starving, share that morsel of food with your neighbor. One is concerned, the other is within the circle of, like Stephen Covey would say, are you focusing your energy on the circle of your influence, or are you focusing your energy on the circle of concern? Why are children like this? There's no answer to that question. This is the environment that is there. Don't you think children are using too much of internet, watching too much of movies, too much of media exposure to the negative, and are we not misdirecting them? Okay, when that is happening, at the other end, can the good make noise? Can the good and the right make noise? An event like this is happening right now. 2,000 of you have come together wanting to work together to create a legacy in the future. A small column item will come somewhere in the newspaper. If one of you can take a knife and stab somebody else here, you will make headlines. Now, what I'm saying is that media is willing to sensationalize the negative is not in our control right now. But what is in our control is a lot of us can be good news broadcasters. A lot of us sitting here can make a lot of noise about the right and good so that these children understand that they are growing into a beautiful world. With all the noise that is happening, go and ask 8 out of 10 children, where do you want your future to be? From Singapore to Australia to America, everything is listed. Not more than 2 out of 10 children say, I want to be in India. Now, is this the future that we want to build? Why? A lot of leadership energy is getting expended on what cannot be changed, when a lot of leadership energy has to be focused on what can be changed. What can be changed? Simple thing. In the growing years of a student, he has to feel like a hero. That's his dominant desire. You also had it when you were a student, and they continue to have it when they are students. The dominant desire is you want focus, you want attention, you want to feel like a hero. If children do not have enough avenues where there are right ways to feel like a hero, they will not mind choosing wrong ways to feel like a hero. Unless as educational institutions, we can create enough avenues where there are right ways to feel like a hero, they would not mind choosing wrong ways to feel like a hero. If the only recognition that is going to be there for them is the top 3 students will get an award on school day function, which will happen 6 months later next year, and otherwise all the other children are treated as also rans. In the meanwhile, for him, picking up a cigarette or doing some gundaism on the road or nicknaming a teacher or cutting classes or somewhere going to a snooker parlor and just pocketing that one ball, and all his friends clap and he feels like a hero there. It may not give him a future, but he feels like a hero in those moments. When we do not create enough avenues for students to have the right ways to feel like a hero, they will not mind choosing wrong ways to feel like a hero. And this is something every head of institution can do something about. It's in our control, on which we can expand, as simple as creating a simple system in every educational institution. That good students will be recognized for more than just academic excellence. It can be for a lot of things. It can be for punctuality, it can be for attendance, it can be for character, it can be for their willingness to help others, it can be a lot. As simple as this. All of you sitting here, there is a note that comes which your son brings home. And it says, the principal wants to see you tomorrow morning. As parent, you have to go to principal office. What will be your first expression towards your child? What did you do? First expression. Because principal will call parents only if something is wrong. Today that's the system. Suppose the system is a note came and you have to go and see the principal. And you go there thinking your child has done something and you don't know what he has done. And the principal says, I just want to tell you that we feel very proud that your daughter is studying in our college. Huh? Come again? No, we just want to tell you that we are very proud that your daughter is studying. You actually parented your daughter very well. Thank you so much. Imagine when the daughter goes back to the class, all the classmates are going to ask her, so what happened? You're suspended or what? No, she just told my parents that they have brought me up very well. What sort of motivation you create in the class when this happens? Now, this is in our control. This is something that we can do about. Creating a lot of individual aspirations in students is something that we can do about. I personally know of a person where has always been a backbencher, always been a backbencher. And there was this teacher by name Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi, and she had this concept called hero of the day. The hero of the day for Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi, she will identify one student in the class on some criteria, tangible and intangible, and just get somebody. The last 1 minute of every class is, she'll make somebody stand there and share with the rest of the class. He is the hero of the day because, and the rest of the class will clap. There was no reason whatsoever for this one backbencher, non-performer in the class, to ever become the hero of the class. Yet one day, she called Saravanan and told Saravanan, this particular lesson tomorrow, I want you to prepare and come. I am going to ask you to teach to the class. Saravanan says, no, I cannot do it, ma'am. Mrs. Vijayalakshmi says, I have confidence in you, da. You practice and come, you will be able to do it. Saravanan practices just that one lesson throughout the day, and next day, she is not even testing him completely. By the time he has shared the first 2 paragraphs of that lesson, Mrs. Vijayalakshmi stops and says, today's hero of the day is Saravanan, and everybody claps hands. Saravanan, who today creates not less than 25 chartered accountants per year, said, for a student like me who has never been appreciated or praised any day, when I had my first feeling of success, when I saw all of them clap, and Mrs. Vijayalakshmi madam is somebody I look up to, and when she called me the hero of the day, that day this desire was planted in me that I should be a hero in life. And that was the turning point in my life. And now, every year, he rolls out another 25 chartered accountants. Now, for this, we are not dependent on Kapil Sibal. For this, it doesn't matter to us who the next Prime Minister is. For this, we are not dependent on the grant from the government. It is just exercising individual leadership in empowering ways by which what will culminate out of that appointment. And yet, we give our everyday life, we give our life, we give our energy to a lot of things in life without even thinking, expending my time and energy in this direction, will it change anything at all? And if it's not going to change anything, can I conserve that energy and direct it towards something which is empowering, something that I can change, something which I can influence, something that I can transform? In that sense, if there is a vision that I can leave behind for all of us to focus on in our own organizations as well as to the student community. In fact, it's a beautiful exercise to do on a self-introspection for ourselves. A research had been done recently on the 500 most successful people who have walked this planet. And the sampling was taken cross-section of all fields of expression, from spiritual reformers to political reformers to industrial reformers to social reformers, from Nelson Mandela to Jesus Christ to Gautama Buddha to Leonardo da Vinci to Picasso to Pele to Henry Ford. They've taken a cross-section of people, and the research was to find out, has everybody achieved what they have achieved only out of individual genius? Or is there something called common attributes of success? It's ironic that they found in that research, all the 500 of them had 7 attributes which was common. Though everybody had their own individual geniuses, individual brilliance, yet all the 500 of them, doesn't matter what their field of expression was, everybody had 7 common attributes. And they were, I've listed once and then elaborate on each one. 1, passion for excellence. 2, mastery in communication. 3, relationship building abilities. 4, high energy levels. 5, faith. 6, value-based decision making. And 7, a methodology to differentiate themselves. A methodology to differentiate themselves. 1, passion for excellence. Didn't matter what the field of activity they were operating in, they knew they were not there to be lost in the crowd. It is not that they wanted to enjoy that exalted status, but they knew that they just did not belong to the statistical entity of he was also born, he also existed, and finally he too perished. They innately knew that even if they lived as one among the crowd, they knew they were meant to be one above the crowd. It was not power, it was not position, it was just that inner feeling from their walk, to their work, to their expressions, to what they represented. They were incapable of doing anything without passion. In fact, they did not take up anything in life if they could not give their 100%. Goals, visions, projects, fields of expression, nothing appealed to them if they ever felt they cannot give their 100% to it. But if they took it up, doesn't matter what it was, it could be playing a sport, it could be expressing an art form, it could be building an industry, it could be designing a new product, it could be bringing about a new social consciousness to the society, it could be challenging the prevailing social conscience, it could be becoming founders of a new path of religion. Didn't matter what it is, if they took up something, they took it up because they felt 100% with it, not otherwise. They did not give their energy to something they did not believe they can be 100% involved into. Passion for excellence. Can your leadership empower this passion in your own organization and enterprise? With this whole forum itself, can the ICT Academy aspire a vision, a goal that can in some way change the destiny of India by transforming all those individuals that we'll work with under the philosophy, we got the man right and the world became right. And when we get the man right in 1.2 billion population, we get the world itself right. Can each one of you not just enroll yourself as a member to this and just be an attendance to every program that happens here? Can you put your hand up and assume responsibilities, which is what leadership is all about? Do not remain a spectator wherever change and transformation is happening. Be counted. Put your hand up. Do not wait to accept responsibilities. Assume responsibilities. Go and ask. I want to shoulder responsibilities. Poruppu unarchi. The Tamil word for that is poruppu unarchi. I'm intentionally saying it in Tamil, knowing very well some of you will not follow Tamil. At least for the rest of you can follow. What is important there is poruppu unarchi. It's an innate feeling. A sense of responsibility can never be outside in. It has to be inside out. Unarchi, it's a feeling. It has to emanate from within you. And the extent to which you are passionate about life, that is when that innate feeling will express itself. And there will be a sense of responsibility. Leaders don't accept responsibility. Leaders assume responsibility. Nobody went and told Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, can you champion the cause of Indian independence? Nobody went and requested Ambedkar, can you champion the cause of abolishing untouchability? Nobody went and pleaded Mother Teresa. So can you now bring dignity to those who are uncared for? Nobody went and pleaded Nelson Mandela. Can you brave 27 years of imprisonment? Nobody went and pleaded Steve Jobs. Can you come and challenge the status quo that technology is going through? All of them did what they did. And we revere them, and it's not a quality that we cannot cultivate. Leaders do not accept responsibility. They assume responsibility. If they are part of any place, they want to play the lead role, and lead role is nothing but responding with your ability, which is responsibility. And it comes out of feeling that passion. First, can we cultivate that in ourselves? Can we percolate it into the organization? Can you percolate it as parents into your children? Little things correct the child. He somehow leaves the bottle here, it's okay. Take that one moment in parenting and tell, Kana, a place for everything in its place. Does it make a difference? It makes a huge difference. Huge difference. I continue to speak with the same passion. What will you notice? My speech or a half-rolled sleeves? When the child comes back from school, half shirt tucked in, half shirt tucked out, hanging out, it's okay. Take that one parental moment and instill that passion within the organization. Any shoddy work, right from where the car is being parked, to how the door has been closed, to how the work table has been arranged, to how the cubicle is, whether your laptop has been cleaned or all the dust is sitting on the laptop through which you are working on your numbers, from there has to be passion. In fact, whatever you do, your signature must be left behind in that. If it's in you, and if you can take this as a leadership responsibility, and this is not dependent on systems, not on constitution, not on sanctions from the government, not on anything. You in your individual capacity can lead yourself, lead your organization, lead yourself in this forum of ICT Academy, and lead those little ones through your institution into one of the qualities all the 500 of them had. Passion for excellence, by assuming responsibility and giving their 100% to anything that they took in life. Now, how do I transfer this passion to others? Mastery in communication. Do not be a reluctant communicator. A reluctant communicator can never be an effective leader. Be a willing communicator. Talking during lunch and talking during coffee break will get you friends, will not make you a leader. You have to communicate. Today we live in a world of distraction. You have a great vision for the organization. You have a great vision for ICT Academy. People need reminding for remembering. Bhashak mattumna oru tharo sonna 100 tharo sonna mari. Real time leadership 100 tharo sonna oru tharo sonna mari. People need reminding for remembering. Mastery in communication. If Christ had hesitated to communicate, there is no Christianity. If Krishna did not communicate, there is no Bhagavad Gita. If Arjuna didn't ask all those questions, he would have lived with those doubts. If Hanuman did not communicate, Rama himself would have never understood the devotion, the surrender, the faith that Hanuman had towards Rama. If Gandhi didn't communicate, he wouldn't have empowered 200 million people of this nation at that stage to understand, why are you happy, contented slaves? If Mother Teresa did not communicate, she couldn't have mobilized the resources with which she could reach out to the uncared for. Mastery in communication. All of us talk, but we are very reluctant to do formal communication. The days of individual empowerment is reducing. The days of mass empowerment is starting. You must be in a position to call all your students and as the head of the institution, talk to them something by which they feel empowered. That's when passion gets transferred. There are a lot more people who fought for Indian independence, even giving their life more than Mahatma Gandhi, but nobody will get the amount of credit Gandhi gets because he was a communicator. Steve Jobs, communicator. Bill Gates, communicator. Why Sonia Gandhi has to speak for Manmohan Singh to win? Manmohan Singh won't communicate. Sonia Gandhi will communicate. What do we know about the ideology of BJP? Nothing. But what is happening? They have a communicator who is willing to go and communicate everywhere. Even a Miss World and a Miss Universe, after all the rounds of scrutiny, finally when the last 8 is assembled, that one Miss World, one Miss Universe is selected by a question that is being asked, and the answer they communicate in return. Even beauty is judged only through communication. Mastery in communication. Can we create enough expression grounds for people to communicate? Another very important leadership responsibility. Can we teach our children? You know how many of your engineering students, extraordinary in subject, they cannot get past interviews. Written exam, he will score extraordinary marks. Interview, they ask questions, they cannot express themselves. Why? We didn't create enough platforms for them to communicate and express. And when you communicate, the resultant effect of that is you start building relationships. Nobody makes it alone. We all have to empower and create winning teams. And winning teams is all about building relationship. Throw you in any environment and you should be able to build a team around you. If Christ did not build the team of those 12 apostles, there's no Bible for you. You would have never known that somebody by name Christ walked this planet. Even a religious revolution happened only by a leader's ability to build a team. Mother Teresa left behind a team even for a non-profit making NGO to reach out because she built a team and left a legacy behind. Relationship building abilities. Can we create enough such heterogeneous interactions within the institutions where people know how to form heterogeneous relationships and not just homogeneous? Because in our education system, if you study in a school where from LKG to 12th standard is there, from LKG to 12th standard you have the same classmate. Same set of people get promoted. Say, for 14 years, you have not even befriended people from the next section, especially if you are not involved in extracurricular activities, and you have related with people of the same age. Yet when you come to work environment, you are always working with people who are younger than you, older than you, in a heterogeneous environment. So can we, as parents, as leaders, as social leaders, as organization leaders, as heads of institution, create these platforms of heterogeneous relationships? All of them live their life out of high energy levels. Future follows enthusiasm. Nothing great has ever been achieved without enthusiasm, and future follows enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is derived from the Greek word enthos. And in Greek, enthos means to be in touch with God. In fact, the Greek believed no other form of prayer is required for you to be in touch with God. Live your life enthusiastically and you're in touch with that source of energy. So can we be that living role models in the way we come to work, in the way we take responsibilities, in the way we communicate, in the way we build these heterogeneous relationships? Can we carry that energy with us? There are no off days in the life of a legend. Early morning, mid-afternoon, late in the evening, late in the night. Doesn't matter what you represent, there must be this relentless, contagious enthusiasm in whatever you represent. And enthusiasm percolates. If there is enough enthusiasm at the top, the last guy in the organization will also be expressing that enthusiasm. If you are a reluctant member here, because of you, 3 more members will drop out within 2 years' time. You're an enthusiastic member in this forum. Because of you, another 25 will enroll themselves into the same membership. Enthusiasm is contagious, infectious. So can you carry your life in every moment of your life with that relentless enthusiasm? If passion is there, if mastery in communication is there, if it's expressed in heterogeneous relationship, you will find this expression of enthusiasm. All of them had their life anchored in faith. Faith not necessarily to God. Of course to God. But some of them didn't believe in God. But they believed in their cause. They believed in their process. They believed in their vision. They had faith in something. They had faith in their potential. Like our own Swami Vivekananda would say, he is not an atheist who does not have faith in God. He is an atheist who does not have faith in his own abilities. Can we instill that faith? Can we instill that faith in that remaining 8 out of 10 children in every educational institution? It's not about whether you want India or not. India needs you. And play your part here. Go anywhere. Educate yourself anywhere. Acquire all the qualifications. Maybe work for a few years. But please come back and serve the roots. Can we drive this message to every child? Just because my neighboring auntie is very beautiful, she doesn't become my mother. My mother is my mother. And I'm sure there are a lot of neighboring aunties which are beautiful. But if you have to make your mother look beautiful, then a lot of us have to work together towards it. Can we do that? Can we instill faith in the future of India in them? Can we instill faith in their potential? Can we instill that faith in that transcendental force? And it all begins by you first displaying it in yourself. You cannot empower the world with any quality that is not at yours. Value-based decision making. At a time when people do not even want to stand in a traffic signal because the constable is not there. Constable is there, red is red. Constable is not there, everything is green. And this is from the most educated society. It's not just about the call taxi drivers who drive this. Some of the best owner-driven cars and sedans, from there itself, if I am only a law-breaking citizen, not a law-abiding citizen, what sort of role models are we to the next generation? How are they going to learn? As clean as that place is right now before the break, when all of you go for the break and come back, that place should still look equally clean. That's how it is in Singapore. People say Singapore is clean. Singapore is clean because citizens of Singapore are clean. India is dirty because citizens of India make it dirty. So can it begin with us? Can we teach them? Because when we all used to study, so I know a lot of you are youngsters. I come from a different generation altogether. When we all used to study, we used to have a subject called moral science. We don't have to pass in that subject. It's optional. Then what sort of country will you build? I thought moral science is one subject where we should have demanded 100 out of 100. I could have actually got a little less in maths or English and still passed. But I was always told moral science, exam eidina poro, pass na panavana. And that is the world. And now even that subject is removed. Parents are also focusing on academics. Educational institution is also focusing. Who is going to build character in this country? Who is ever going to teach them the importance of value-based living, value-based decision making? When they see around them, people take all the shortcuts to become rich. And they will think that is abundance. But the Bhagavad Gita says, materialistic progress without peace of mind is not Shreyas. Shreyas is overall well-being will not come to you. Only the materialistic progress that you achieve with your values intact is going to give you materialistic abundance as well as abundance in quality of your life. And that's going to happen only through value-based living. So how are we going to instill this? First, by we living a value-based life and empowering this into them. Of course, all of them had one quality which was common. Methodology to differentiate themselves. They didn't ask themselves this question, how am I going to compete? They ask themselves this question, how am I going to be different from the rest? Not at a thought level, at the action level. That's why methodology to differentiate themselves from the rest. Christ created his own path. Prophet took another. Mahavira took another. Buddha took another. Guru Nanak took another. Everybody were focusing on Indian independence. Ambedkar went into a different direction. Somebody excelled in sports. Somebody excelled in science. Somebody asked themselves, he realized one day in his garage, I cannot compete with Microsoft whatsoever on software. So can I go into the hardware platform and challenge the status quo? All of them, in their very thought process, thought methodologies to differentiate themselves, which eventually culminated in the action domain. Passion for excellence, mastery in communication, heterogeneous relationships, faith, high energy levels, faith, value-based decision making, and methodology to differentiate themselves. So one of the initiatives let us take into bringing unto ourselves, creating that leadership first at ICT Academy itself, then taking it into the organizations that we have built, percolating it into the institutions we are partnering with, and if we can create every year just 1,000 citizens out of this initiative, only 1,000 citizens out of this initiative who have upgraded themselves in all these 7 attributes, 25 years from now, this initiative of yours would have triggered one of the largest revolutions this country has seen. The destiny of a country is not shaped by the 1.2 billion people. The destiny of a country is shaped by the top 1,000 citizens of a country. Any country at any point of history. And if some of those in the top 1,000 citizens of the country 25 years from now can emerge out of this initiative, you would have triggered one of the largest revolutions in India. So can we not only focus on quantitative reach, but can we also have a focus on the qualitative reach, that is, at least 1,000 children, year on year, developed on all these 7 attributes, upgraded on all these 7 attributes, will emerge for the next 25 years, and that together will create a new India, and a new India for sure is a new world. Let your good work continue. I love you all so much. Thank you. Thank you.
May I request Mr. Lakshmi, the chairman, to honor the Mahatria.
I have the habit of hugging people. Okay.
On behalf of all of you, I'm extremely happy to present this memento to Mahatria. There's only one word to describe the last 1 hour. It's joy. That's it. Thank you very much.
We'll be